Hello there. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Travis, and I'm the Director of Host Success at Red Awning. I run our account management team, and so I am here today to present to you a little bit of information about how Red Awning works. I'm going to walk you through our portal, which you should fairly be already familiar with, and then answer a few commonly asked questions and basically just show you around to make sure you feel comfortable with the portal and everything Red Awning. Um, I will probably not answer every question you might have in this video, and so I do want to make clear that you do have a dedicated account manager at Red Awning standing by to help you out with anything you might need. The best way to get in touch with us is using the email address hostsuccess@redawning.com. Again, that's hostsuccess@redawning.com. And you will get an answer very quickly if you email us there. And that's the email address you'll want to use for pretty much anything you have questions on, whether that be finances or the listing itself or how a channel works or things like that. That email address is more for account related things though, and so going forward more towards the end of this presentation I will let you know where to go for other issues, but all told your best bet is hostsuccess@redawning.com. Now, again, what I want to do today is just walk you through a few things, and so I'm going to hop right over to our portal. And so you will always get into our portal by going to portal.redawning.com. And I'm going to assume that you're already fairly familiar with the portal, so I will not spend a lot of time on how to update things or build things. I think you've already done that. And so if you have questions, again, just shoot us an email and we will help you out with whatever your question is. But the account I'm in here is one of our property owners. His name is Tim Choate, and he has two properties with us that you can see here. And so, you yourself out there, you might have one property or two or five or six. You can have as many properties as you want, obviously. And for us, the more the better. And so if you're sitting in the portal and you're going, well, how do I add another property? You'll want to do that by just using the create button up here. And once you click create, it will let you create another property like you've already created the properties you see existing in your portal. So to go over a few things, one interesting thing about this page that is very important is this little shield here. It's called View Validations, and what a validation is it's basically our system checking to make sure your listing will go to every channel that it should. And so once you've built a listing and your listing is live, you should come here and check the validation. And the validation will tell you if there are any issues with the property. So you can see that this property is all good to go. This property meets all the requirements. Let me just check Tim's second property just to make sure. Oh, that one's good too. So that's great. And so what that means is that his listing, both of his listings, will make it to all of the channels. If you click this and you see something, you might see it's a booking.com, there are not enough photos, or Expedia, there are not enough amenities. And so what that note is doing is it's directing you to take action on your listing so that the listing can make it onto that channel. And so you'll always want to check those validations to make sure you do have this congratulations message here. If you see something in the validation that you're not quite sure how to handle, just shoot us a note and we can help walk you through what needs to happen to clear up that validation. But again, if it says congratulations, you're all set to go. And typically our onboarding team will have made sure those are cleared up. So this is just a note more so for if you add new properties going forward. Now, I can also obviously go into a property. And so let's say I want to update the description of my property. I will just click the property and the portal will take me right into that listing. And that is where I can go to make those updates. So there's certain things that would probably never change, such as the address or the number of bedrooms. But perhaps you want to play with the title or the description, and you can make those changes here, and then click save up here in the top right. We do suggest you keep your titles nice and long and interesting, and so you're free to play with those however you want. Particularly if you're in a seasonal area where maybe it snows in the winter and people come to ski, but in the summer they come to hike, and you might want to message things differently. So you're free to change that. Your heading will go as is to every channel except booking.com. Now, I won't spend a lot of time here because you've already been in here and you've already built a listing. So hopefully you understand everything that's here. Obviously, you can play with your amenities, add more, take some out. You can add more photos. You can take photos out. You can also rearrange the photos. So, we know that the lead photo is very important, and Tim's done a good job of putting a really good lead photo here. It includes the nice big pool as well as a great shot of the house itself. So the photos are obviously something that are very important, and so I like to tell people, make the photos as big as you can, and we want to have as many as possible. As you know, we do work with photographers to make sure that you have good photos, so that's likely already taken care of for you. But if you are trying to do photos on your own, we suggest having at least 25, and the resolution needs to be as high as possible. And one thing too is you want to make sure that you have a photo of every amenity available. And that's particularly true for condos or listings that are a part of an HOA. Maybe there's a tennis court that guests have access to. Well, we should list that as an amenity, but also have a photo of it. The channels really like a photo of each amenity. So again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time here, but this is where you can obviously update your listing. There is a status here as well, so you can make the listing not live and save it. But we don't suggest you doing that on your own. If you need to take a listing not live, it would be best for you to reach out to your account manager. You know, there's legit reasons for taking a listing to be not live, and that might be that you sold the property, and that's totally okay. But we do suggest you talk to your account manager about that because we will want to be sure that we're doing the right thing and getting the listing down on the channels, and just talking through what the future of the partnership is, if you are turning something off, and maybe if that's your only listing, then we would like to talk to you about it. So I'm going to go back to the property page here, and the other aspect of a listing is the calendar. And so you can view the calendar for a particular listing by clicking this button right here, and that'll take you into the calendar for that one listing. You can also view all of the calendars at one time by clicking this calendar tab over here on the left. This is sort of a personal preference thing. If you prefer to kind of view all the calendars at once and make changes in that sense, that is totally fine. Other people prefer to view the actual calendar one by one, and so however you want to navigate that, that is absolutely fine. Personally, I like to go into one calendar at a time, and make sure things look okay. So let me just click this calendar. And this is where I can go to block the calendar. So obviously, if Red Awning gets you a booking, we will block the calendar for that booking for you. But you are also more than welcome to block dates that you don't have available. And obviously, we require that. If you can't let the guests stay during certain dates, it needs to be blocked here in the calendar. And so, if Tim, let's say Tim and his family were going to be at this property the weekend of March 26th, he could come in here and just click the 26th and say, I want to block the property through the 29th because I'm going to be there with my family and I don't want anybody to book it. And you would just click block property, and then it would show up as blocked, similar to what you already see here for the April 1st date there. The other thing you can do here is update the pricing and the minimum nights. And so to do that, you would just click on the price you see there, and you can adjust the actual price, and you can adjust the minimum nights to whatever they need to be. And you can do this night by night, or if your rate is the same, say through April 30th, you could extend the date to April 30th and then save the price, and it would update the price to be 2000 a night, the minimum nights, 10 nights for March 12th through April 30th. And then you can also set it to allow check-ins on only certain days. Tim's property here is in Hawaii. It's not really common to require a certain check-in day on Hawaii, but in certain areas it is. For example, Myrtle Beach, the Carolinas, Florida, a lot of people there only allow Saturday to Saturday check-ins. And so if that's the case for you, you can cross off every day except Saturday and click update price, and that will force guests to book Saturday to Saturday for the date range you've applied that to up here. I am not going to save all that, but that is how that works. And so I'm going to go back to where I started so we don't get confused on the navigation here. And so I'm back at the property page now. And so that is kind of the basics of the property itself. I will now walk you through a few other things you can view in the portal. So, one thing I want to point out is reservations. This is very important. So, the reservation section will show you all upcoming reservations. If you're interested, you can also have it show you past reservations. But if I'm Tim, maybe I don't really care about all those past ones. I want to see what's coming up still, and we see here that Tim has one coming up in on April 8th there. You can also show the cancellations though too if you're curious. So Tim has a few bookings here that are canceled that are coming up. So he doesn't really need to worry about them, but maybe for whatever reason he wants to see those. And so the interesting thing here too is that you can export this. So if you do have a lot of upcoming bookings, which hopefully you do, you can download this into an Excel file and give it to your house cleaners or do whatever you might need to do with that Excel file. Lastly, you can click on this reservation. So, you can kind of get the check-in date, checkout, etc., but you might want a few more details. And so if I click on that reservation, it's going to give me a lot more details. So the day it was booked, the check-in, checkout, it does give you how many days you have until this guest checks in, the number of guests, the number of nights, and it will also give you the full breakdown of what we are going to pay you. And additionally, once the reservation is close enough, typically once the reservation is 30 days away or less, we will also provide the guest information here. So you can email or call this guest as at your convenience to give them check-in instructions or to talk to them about their reservation. Whatever you typically do. We are at Red Awning. We're here to help, and so if you ever need help with a guest, your best bet is to get with our client services team. And they are here to help. And their email address is clientservices@redawning.com. And the client services team can help you out with whatever you want. Like, let's say a guest called you and they want to add a night to their reservation. Well, since Red Awning is the merchant of record, you'll want to have that happen through Red Awning. You don't want to just do that yourself. And so you would email client services at redawning.com and just say, hey, I need to add a night for this guest. Can you please work with the guest and get them charged and update the booking? The other thing about guests with Red Awning is that this is a partnership and it is your guest as well as our guest. But we do leave a lot of the check-in instruction communication to you. And so whenever you are ready, you'll want to email your check-in instructions directly to the guest at the email address given here. Again, you can call them too if need be, but most people will be sending check-in instructions, and your check-in instructions should include a lot of the basics of staying with you as well as how to get into the property. So if there's a lockbox code or windy roads that you need to direct people through in the check-in instructions, that's great. You should include anything you want in the check-in instructions except for pricing. You do not want to include any sort of pricing in the instructions, or any information that you're giving to the guest should not include any pricing. But that's really the only thing we ask you to not include. So if you have a beautiful document that you typically give to guests, you're free to continue to send that, and we will give you the guest information right here. Um, I will switch over to Gmail really quickly though, because I want to also let you know that we send you an email when we get you a booking. So obviously, that's going to be important as well. And so I'm just getting this booking ready here, and you'll see that we did email Tim. We said, "Hi Tim, you have a booking." And so this booking email gives you kind of all of the same information that the portal will give you, but the portal is a backup. So obviously emails come in, you might get hundreds of emails a day, and so the portal is going to have all of this same information that this email does. The one thing, though, that is really important about this email is that we do need you to accept the booking. And so once you get a booking from us, you will see this email and you need to click accept in the email. Every booking we get you is confirmed and good to go at the time of booking. So we generally assume that every booking is going to be fine, but we do ask that you click accept so that our teams here at Red Awning know that you have seen the booking, you acknowledge it, you accept it, etc. We do, though, understand that every once in a while you might have to report a problem on a booking. Maybe you got a phone call and booked somebody in, and then Red Awning sent you a booking literally 20 seconds later. Things like that happen, and so if you do need to report a problem with a booking, you would click this red button, and it would report a problem. And there's some verbiage here we'll want you to read through, but ultimately you can fill out this form, and our guest services team will work with you to help make sure that that guest gets taken care of. We cannot simply just cancel bookings. We are responsible for every guest who books the moment they book, and so are you. And so, we do understand that things happen, but at the end of the day, if you need to report a problem on a booking, then you really need to work with us to provide an alternative accommodation for that guest. And if you don't have one, our guest services team will work with the channel or our other inventory to basically make sure that the guest is not left in the lurch. We need to be able to provide that guest with the vacation they booked, and if it's not at the property they originally wanted, our team here will help them find a property that works for them. Now, we do really want to avoid canceling or rejecting bookings at all costs, and the reason for that is that the channels simply don't allow it. And so if you were working directly with booking.com and they got you a booking and you said you can't take it, they would say, well, figure it out. This guest is still your responsibility. Now with Red Awning, you have us to help, and so we will help you, but we really want to minimize this. And the other reason for trying to minimize this is that the channels will deprioritize your listing if you reject any bookings. And so they spend a lot of money bringing traffic to their sites. And so if they have a listing that has a lot of cancellations on it or a lot of rejected bookings on it, they're basically going to say, well, we're not really that confident that if we send this listing a booking, the booking will work out. And so we will deprioritize that listing. And so you can count on the fact that if you do have to reject a booking, your listing might drop a whole page or two in the search results because of that. And so again, we really want to minimize that. Obviously, too, it's a bad guest experience. And so we want the guests to have a good experience with you, with Red Awning, as well as with the channel. That pretty much covers the reservations. But again, I want to reiterate that if you do need anything in terms of guests or reservations, email client services at redawning.com. So those are the two, that email as well as host success at redawning.com are the two you really need to keep in mind. Host success is more for account type things, and client services is for reservations and guest things, issues, questions, problems, etc. All right, let me go back into the portal here, and I will go back to the reservations page so we can kind of reset where we were at. And now I'm just going to go down a little bit further. So you have a website tab here as well. And so if you're interested in creating a website for your property through Red Awning, you can do that right here. And you'll actually see that Tim has done that. And so Tim has basically created a little website that he can use to market his property. And so I'm actually going to take you to his website right now just so you can see it real quick. And it looks lovely. And it's basically Tim's two properties are on this website and people can book them. So your listing with Red Awning is going to redawning.com, it's going to Airbnb, booking.com, Expedia, Vrbo. It's going to all those channels, but it's also, if you want, you can create a website here that will give you a URL that you can market to past guests or future guests, however you want to do it. If you have a Yelp page, you can throw it on there as well. So that is up to you. Not everyone creates a smart site, is what we call it. But play around in there and create one if you'd like, and we can help you out if you have any questions on how to do that. We've also partnered with a company called Turnover BNB, and they're a really cool operation that allows you to basically go over to them and set up house cleaners. So Turnover BNB is a place where you can find house cleaners in your area, get them booked to help clean your house, and that's it. So if you're not sure of who's going to clean your house, or maybe you have a variety of house cleaners and you kind of want to streamline it down to one person in your area, you can go to Turnover BNB and get that cleaner scheduled. And the cleaners all have reviews, and so it's a pretty cool service. And you'll see that Tim basically has somebody signed up to clean his property for that next arrival. This arrival from February, though, is already completed. So it's pretty cool. Tim can just monitor what he's doing in terms of his cleaners right here through the Red Awning interface with Turnover BNB. You can click though over into the Turnover BNB area, which is what you'll need to do to actually sign cleaners up. But right here in the portal, we'll list what you've done in Turnover BNB and list out, what's next and who the cleaner is and all that good stuff. But for more details, you would click that URL. Additionally, this reservation ID, you can click that and it'll take us back into that reservation. So we're kind of always trying to let you click into the reservation details from as many places as possible to keep it easy for you. Now, the other thing here, and we're actually winding down somewhat, but the other thing here that we have is reports. And the reports are pretty cool. And I won't go through all of them, but there's an earnings report, there's a revenue report, there's a performance report. So all of these reports are going to be able to show you what they say, your earnings, your revenue, your performance, etc. Obviously, we need to get you some bookings for those to be relevant. And so, as you get more bookings, those reports will change and become probably more interesting. The biggest, report you'll want to pay attention to right out the gate, though, is your channels report. So this is going to show all of your properties. And again, Tim only has 2. If you have 6, you would see 6 here. But this page allows you to click through onto each channel link and check it out. Make sure it looks good. So I can go to the Red Awning channel and see my listing on Red Awning. But I can also go to the Vrbo channel and see my listing on Vrbo. And that photo looks super great, right there on Vrbo. But I can also do booking. So I won't belabor this. I think you get the point. You can go onto every channel listing and just check it out and see what you think. If you see anything funky or errors or things you want to ask about on the channel, that is again where you would want to email us at hostsuccess@redawning.com, and we will help you out with whatever question you might have. The other interesting report that I will show you during this presentation is taxes. So with taxes, we created this report because Airbnb is one channel that will collect and remit either all or some of your taxes depending on your jurisdiction. And so this report is for that. It's for you to say at the end of the year, come here and say, okay, I want to be able to see what the channel, which right now it would just be Airbnb, what the channel paid in taxes on my behalf versus what Red Awning collected and remitted to me that I'm responsible for. So if I wanted to, I could say, okay, let's just show me, so far 2021, what the taxes are, in terms of what Airbnb is collected and not. And I can download this into a CSV and use it for my accounting, person or whatever, my taxes, obviously. And so this is going to be a useful report as we get you Airbnb bookings. And there's some informational things here. So the total tax, this is the total tax collected for each stay. Total paid. This is the um, total paid directly to your tax authority by Airbnb. And so you'll see for Tim, there hasn't been any yet. Maybe he just hasn't gotten an Airbnb booking, between these dates, which is likely the case. But if he did, he would see some with a number here. And that any numbers you see in this column, you can trust that Airbnb is taking care of that amount for you on your behalf in terms of taxes. The last report is availability, and we want to just make sure you know how much availability you have on your listings. So obviously 81% and 73%, that's kind of just saying to Tim, your calendars are open and there's a lot of room for booking. So obviously we want to fill those calendars. But what you'll want to pay attention to here is if you saw a 0%, obviously something's wrong. And so maybe you forgot to put rates in. And so if you forgot to put rates in for the rest of this year, it would say 0% here because there are no rates. And so we can't book guests in if there are no rates. But you can also use this to just see what your occupancy levels are. If you've got a ton of bookings for the summer, maybe your availability is only 20%, but maybe that's accurate. And if so, that's great. And that kind of does it for the reporting. Now, the last thing I want to go over is the finances. So if you click account here at the very bottom, you will see that there is a payments area. And the payments area is going to show you all of the financials around your account. And so your total balance up here is going to be basically what we have in escrow for you, and we're waiting to pay out to you. So when a guest books with us, her money comes to us and we put it into your Stripe balance. And so as we get you bookings, this number will go up. And then as we pay you for bookings, this number will go down. So it's very common to see this total balance fluctuate as things happen, as we get you bookings and then as we pay you for bookings. So if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see here that Tim has a variety of things going on. But the main thing you'll want to look out for is the word payout. So the payout is us paying you. So this is money that's gone into your bank account. So we're going to tell you what day we did it, what reservation it's for, and how much it is. The other thing you'll see here is payments. This one can be a little bit confusing, but what you'll need to just know is that this is the guest paying us. So this is a booking coming in. And so fundamentally, we're adding $5,416.32. We added that amount to Tim's overall balance on the 12th. But then on the 15th, we paid him that. And so it left the overall balance. So payments will add money to your balance. Payouts will subtract money from your balance. But the payouts are obviously putting money into your bank. You can filter this as well. So if you want to just look at, okay, just show me January, you can filter to January. And then you can also export this into a CSV as well if that is useful for you. So feel free to do that. The other thing here is future payouts. So this is going to tell you when we're going to pay you next. And so Tim only has one future booking. So his balance actually matches the one future payout. But you can click this reservation and see which reservation it is if you need to. And then you can also see what date we're going to pay you and what amount. And so this will be useful in determining, if you have 7, 8, 9, 10 bookings in the future, you will be able to see those 7 or 8 amounts. But then up here is going to be the total of those 7 or 8 amounts. If you have questions about payment, there's a little button here. It says have questions about payments. Click here. This is super useful. This is going to basically take you to a form that we want you to fill out, and then once you submit it, your question will go to our finance team, and they will respond to you. And so this is a good way to ask any questions you have at all about the payments you already got, or when you can expect a payment, or you know if a number looks wrong to you and you want to ask about it, that is the best way to do that. So you don't need to bookmark this or anything either, because again, this is going to be right in your portal. It'll always be there. Just click that button and it'll take you to the form. The last thing here is you can also click the red Stripe Connect button here. This could be useful. It's kind of redundant, but it does show you a list of all the payouts we've ever sent you. But more importantly, you can update the account here. And so you can change the bank it's going into. You can change the representative name, stuff like that. I don't expect you will need to do that much, but if you ever need to revise the bank details and things, you can do that there. To be honest, though, I would suggest that you talk to your account manager if you need to change the bank. We want to be sure that all happens correctly. So just let us know, and we can help you out with that. And again, that email would be hostsuccess@redawning.com. One thing I wanted to mention too is we can run promotions. Promotions you may have seen up here. This is kind of an internal thing right now. So if you want to run a promotion, your account manager would need to set that up for you. But we are working on making promotion setup visible to you so that you can do it on your own. So one day you'll see that show up in the portal here. But in the meantime, if you want to talk through what you might be able to do in terms of a promotion, just shoot us a note at hostsuccess@redawning.com, and your account manager will reach back out to you and set up a call and talk through what our options are and what you might want to do there. We do have a book early and save promotion, a last minute type promotion, as well as just a basic, hey, 10% off for these dates. So that kind of thing is pretty much up to you. Now, the last thing I wanted to go over is, just the damage waiver. So if you do get damages on if a guest stays and let's say she spilled wine on the couch, you do have coverage for that damages through Red Awning's damage waiver program. And so we do have an area that you can go to that talks about how to submit a damage claim. And we have also an area that explains the damage waiver and what's covered and what's not. But fundamentally, you'll want to send an email to damageclaims@redawning.com to file a damage claim. And basically, we just need all the details. So what happened, photos, invoices, things like that, receipts, whatever you might need to provide to help us file that claim. The guest does pay a fee when they book through Red Awning, and that fee is for damage waivers. It's $55, and that fee the guest pays makes sure that you're covered for accidental damages of up to $3,000. And so keep that number in mind. You don't have to remember all these email addresses though either. The last thing I want to point out is that you were given a big document called the Red Awning FAQ when you were in onboarding. And so hopefully you've read through this. This is going to answer most all of your questions, and there's stuff in here about taxes and taxes with Airbnb and those things that I've kind of skimmed over. You can find more details here in the Red Awning FAQ. There's a link to the payout inquiry form here. Excuse me. There's also a link to some of the tax collection data from Airbnb. And there's links to client services. We give you the email there, the damage waiver links. So again, you don't need to remember all this. Maybe you were frantically writing these emails down when I was talking about them, but just refer to your FAQ if you have any questions or you're like, oh, I don't remember what email I need to do for what. All of that is going to be here. If you don't have the FAQ or you can't find it, you're not sure where you put it, just let us know at hostsuccess@redawning.com and we can send it to you again. It's just a PDF. So I think that pretty much does it. I don't think I have anything else that we need to go over in this presentation, and so I think I will leave it there. Thank you for taking the time to listen. And again, if you have any questions at all, shoot us an email at hostsuccess@redawning.com. We are definitely here to help. Excuse me. And we are here to help you get bookings. So you don't need to just wait until there's an issue to email us if you want to talk about revenue or performance or rates or things like that. Let us know, and we are here to help. Your account manager will be in touch very soon once you shoot an email over to us. Um, that actually reminded me of one last thing that I didn't go over, and that is Price Labs. And so most of you are probably using Price Labs. So earlier in the presentation, when I went through the calendar, you wouldn't actually want to make updates right here in the calendar if you're using Price Labs. The Price Labs system would be making your rate updates for you. So that's just a bit of a clarification. But I think that about does it. And so thank you again for joining us. And again, please do let us know if you have any questions at all. We look forward to working with you. Thanks again. Bye.